Well, hello, Information Nation. How are you? It is Miss Info. Lady on the go, lady in the know, Miss Info. You've reached the Information Nation, where knowledge is shared and wisdom exchanged for the betterment of a people. I'm at it again. I'm trying. Listen, got a lot of things I want to talk about, but today's video is about our obsession with celebrities. Why are we so obsessed with celebrities? Calling this video Famous for Being Famous, Our Celebrity Addiction. Jerry Lewis, Michael Jordan, Beyonce, Martin Lawrence, Michael Jackson, Prince, Paul McCartney, Robin Williams, Denzel Washington, Whitney Houston, who else? Taylor Swift. When I say those names, you know exactly who I'm talking about, right? Celebrities, famous people. Those are a few names just off the top of my head. But when we mention those names, what's the first thing you think about? Rich, luxurious living, lavishness, money, and more money. But why are we so fascinated with their lives, their loves, their homes, their children, their fortunes, their misfortunes? Are we just nosy? Are we bored? Or are we so unhappy in our own ordinary lives that we have to live vicariously through their escapades? Now, I'm not against celebrities. As a matter of fact, people who play sports, who play music, who can play an instrument, who sing, these take skill. You gotta have some skill, to get the ball in the hoop, to get that ball across the line, to hit those notes, play an instrument, to read music. I'm impressed with people who can do that. But what about people who pretend to be other people? Actors and actresses. They're only famous for being famous because they can pretend so well. They can lie. And we find it fascinating. The people who can sing a song and bring you to tears, or tell a story, who speak so eloquently, or who do poetry. I think these people are pretty interesting and deserving of my time. Because remember, you don't get time back. Like when I hear Whitney Houston sing, just perfect. Or Ray Charles singing Georgia on My Mind just gives me the chills. Musicians get a high mark in my book because you have the skill and the ability to make an object, to make an instrument sing or speak or talk. Now, seriously, who cares about how many times these actors or actresses have been married, have had cosmetic surgery, or how many times they've been divorced, broke, or incarcerated? Now, there's a biological aspect to our fascination. Our brains are wired for social connection. right? Social media, that's how we're connecting here lately. The internet is amazing. Now, knowing important people or claiming to know celebrities is a part of our need to be connected. The internet has made us a global family. I mean, when the Queen of England passed, it was like we were right there. And of course, we've been following her life for years. Now, I have to admit, I have a couple of folks that I follow on social network. Guy Fieri, he is from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I really like him. I can watch him. I binge watch him for hours on end. And I can't cook nothing. Well, I can cook a little bit, but I'm just fascinated with the places that he goes. He's been to Wilmington. He's, of course, been all through the South. You know, he just goes to diners, drive-ins, and dives, little-known places. And these people end up becoming pretty famous. They end up with more patrons. Some have bought bigger establishments. I mean, he really helps those restaurants when he goes to visit. I also like a guy called Mark Wiens. All he does is eat. He's a full-time eater. He travels. His t-shirt says, "I travel for food." Yep, that's all he does. He's famous for traveling around, and he eats all over the world. Now, not in fancy places or fancy restaurants, but in backyards, on mountaintops, and jungles. I mean, he's been to Africa, Asia, in Germany, Italy, but always in the little places that most tourists don't even travel. That's what I like about him. Now, I've been watching him so long. I remember when he got married, when his wife was pregnant and they had the baby. I think the little boy's name is Micah. Yeah, I know his name. I remember his wife's name, his father. I mean, I've just been following this guy. He really fascinates me. But it's also a great way to escape. When you want to just get lost in a subject that you enjoy, you can watch these things for hours on end. Even when they had the, I think it was a Tyler Perry movie called The Haves and the Have-Nots. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to get home. It was the best soap opera since General Hospital. Oh, I couldn't wait for the next episode. It kept you on the edge of your seat. Oh, I loved it. And I don't know what happened to it. It ended sort of weird, but now they're doing the reruns. But anyway, celebrities, even like Tyler Perry. Celebrities, why are we so fascinated with celebrities? Now, I've read the stories about certain celebrities, and the comments are even better. They're a whole story in themselves. Now, we get attitudes and express our disappointment with certain aspects of their lives. And don't get me wrong, I'm always in for a juicy story based on fact, mind you. And I simply justify my need for celebrity binge watching by saying they knew what they were getting into when they wanted to be an actor or an actress. You have given us permission to be in your life. We buy your records, your books. We watch your movies. So they owe us this information into their private lives, right? Wrong. They do not. However, when they commit a crime, we all over it. Me too. I'm watching it, I'm looking, I'm trying to figure out, what does it take for you to have all this money and all this wealth and all this privilege, and then you do the dumbest things, like killing your husband, or putting a hit out on him, or cutting off his penis, or drugging somebody and thinking it won't get out that you drugged them and then date raped them. Let's take R. Kelly. I think he's a very unattractive gentleman. Frankly, I think he's ugly. But just because he wasn't very attractive to me didn't make him unattractive to people who aspired to be singers or get their careers furthered, and by knowing him or associating with him, he could help to push your career further. Now, that fact became obvious that he had issues in childhood when we saw the thing Being R. Kelly, that documentary that was done by the victims. It was revealed that he had been molested early on by a man in the neighborhood who preyed on his loner, his quiet, shy, and sheltered personality. Now, R. Kelly was an angry, sick, and dangerously rich individual who used his suave status to degrade and humiliate people, men, women, and children, I guess, in some cases, because some of these folks were under 18. Boys and girls. Yet, there are people who are still defending him. People who think that he's innocent. One of his victims claimed she wasn't a victim, said she was going to marry him or they were getting married. She was like the last hanger-on. Haven't heard from her lately, haven't heard from anybody in that camp here lately because we've been distracted. But I'm going to be pulling that up and seeing where they are. Now, I know he's gone to court a couple times and asked the courts for leniency, but I check that out. Because, in fact, since we have a convicted felon in the White House, I think all of these people are going to pull that rabbit out the hat and say, well, if he did it, and that's all he got, what about me? Is it justified? Maybe. What about Michael Jackson? Sick and twisted, but run it back to his childhood. They said Joe Jackson was something. Epstein. Yeah, Epstein. He was deranged and sick, and that too started in his childhood. Even if they aren't celebrities per se, just got something that most people don't. Maybe they got a little status because they committed a crime and it made headlines or something like that. There was a judge recently, like in the last 5 years or 10 years or so, she threw away her career for having a relationship with a prisoner that she had sentenced. What? Or how about the married teacher, a married school teacher, who introduced her student to sex before he even had any facial hair? Like he was in elementary school. And she eventually gave him children and married him. Or the father, who's also the grandfather and father of 10 of his children. Just sick. But the comments were even more disturbing. We're fascinated with these people. And sometimes We just immerse ourselves into their lives like we have a right to speak on their situation. This is not new. Whenever President Biden came home to Delaware, they pulled out and threw out the red carpet. Yeah, this was home, but some of his favorite spots, restaurants, golf clubs, golf places where he played golf, and even the stores that he visited, he never got a bill. They never charged him. But a homeless man or a homeless woman couldn't even get a cup of water. Definitely something wrong with this picture. Biden didn't need it. He had money. He could pay the bill. He could have paid for everybody in the restaurant, probably. But the owner of that establishment figured that the association was well worth the price of a free meal. Or how about the crazed fan who feels privy to your personal space, stalks your home, or sends you frightening messages? You go from one extreme to the other. We do love our celebrities. Now, who's your favorite and why? Why are you obsessed with whoever it is that is your favorite celebrity? Drop me a comment. I'd like to hear from you, and if I get enough comments, I'll do a tally and share the results with you in my next video. By the way, keep your fingers crossed. I'm just going to keep posting these videos come hell or high water. That's what my grandfather used to say. Because the need to get my thoughts and some of these questions in my mind out there far outweighs the aesthetics of music, the visual commentary, or even the perfect studio setup. I can't have it all. I can get the video done. It's just the little bells and whistles that are giving me trouble, and I'm not going to let that stop me anymore. So when I finally get it together, you'll see it. I can't let that stop me. This is too important to me, and I hope you're going to hang in there with me. Why? Because you don't know what you don't know. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for when I do post a new video. And I want to thank you and take care.